Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Teresa's Kitchen. Today, I will be making steamed grouper steaks, and it's going to be sauteed with fresh tomatoes, onion, bell pepper, garlic. Along with that, I'm going to have some freshly cooked white rice, along with some stir-fried cabbage. So that's going to be dinner. So let me just go ahead and show you some of the ingredients that I have. As I already know, I like to do stuff ahead of time. So what I mean by grouper steaks is basically a whole fish that was cut up and is round like a piece of steak. That's just a fancy name to saying that you have fish steaks. In this case, it's grouper steaks. And like I said, I've seasoned it. If you don't have plain regular lemon ahead of time, you can use lemon pepper. You have your all-purpose seasoning, which is your Old Bay. You have your complete seasoning. I use some red pepper, paprika, a little packet of Goya that's laying right there. Again, you can use a little garlic salt, not too much salt, black pepper for flavoring. I do have some freshly chopped up tomatoes that I was going to use canned, but you know, as I always think, fresh is best. And then for the fried cabbage, I have a small head of cabbage chopped up along with some red onions that I'm going to be sauteing together. And as always, I have my rice that has been sitting here waiting to be washed off. It's been sitting here for the last 10 minutes. And I am going to be adding also some minced garlic. So let's get this show started. So remember, you guys, that I had the rice soaking. So now what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and rinse it, wash it very clear until the water is clear. Remember, we did this once before together, so you should already know how to make a pot of rice. So if you forgot, here's the rice. And I'm just gonna go ahead and let out all that starchy water if that's something you don't want. I'm gonna at least wash it at least 3 good times before I'm actually done with my hands to make sure all of the starch is out. And once the water runs clear, you know it's time to go ahead and just put your water in the pot to cook. And you can pretty much use any kind of rice you want. I personally like to use regular rice, not jasmine rice when I'm making certain meals. The only time that I would use jasmine rice or a poor boil rice is when I'm making like some peas and rice together. Haven't had an opportunity to do that yet, but when I do, you will be more than welcome to the show. So, as I stated earlier, here's my pot. Been watered. So now it's the time for you to go ahead and just add your water. The rule of thumb is to use the finger rule. That's how much water should be over the rice itself. So now it's ready to be cooked. I'm gonna go ahead and place that on the stove, and then I'm gonna have my pan warming up so I can go ahead and start cooking my fish. Okay, I have my pan. I have like 2 tablespoons of oil in it. And what I'm gonna do before I get started is let you guys see the fish steak. This is what it looks like before cooking. And like I said, it's called a steak because it's just kind of cut round like a steak. That's just a cute little word of saying fish steaks. So I'm gonna place it in the pan, let it brown a little bit. And you could tell that the fish is really fresh because you could smell the freshness of it. So yes, I have it cooking. I think I might turn it up a little bit more. I don't want it to steam. I want it to actually brown. So I'm going to turn it up the heat. So it also depends on what type of stove you have. For me, this is the new stove that I have. And I'm kind of leery about cooking on it because it's a glass top stove. still kind of playing with the temperature of it, and just knowing when to do certain things with it. So again, I have the fish sticks on, at least a couple of them in. Make room for the other two. I don't want them to steam, so I really want them to cook on a nice heat. So I'll be back with fish sticks. And this is how it looks in the pan so far. So let's let it cook and I'll be back. So I just flipped them over and they're still cooking. And I think while we're waiting for that to cook, I have another pot out here, which we're going to be using for fried cabbage. I'm just going to put a little oil in that fried cabbage for now. Yes, I did say fried cabbage. So we're going to turn the pan up for this. Kind of want everything to get done about the same time. So I'm going to put a little oil at the bottom of the pan for that. And like I said, this is a new stove, so I'm kind of waiting on stuff to figure out what's going to do, what it's going to do. So, for whatever reason, I know this eye heats up very fast on this particular stove. So I didn't want it to cook that much, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take it out, place it inside this pot right here. And then I'm going to place the remaining fish in the pan to cook. I'm actually going to be saving the liquid that I had basically sauteed the fish in, not sauteed, but marinated the fish in. You can save it to use it as you're going to go ahead and make your veggies with it. So right now that's cooking. This is getting hot. As you can see, for whatever reason, this part don't play, but this part just takes forever. So what I'm going to do, I have a bowl already with the veggies sauteed in, not sauteed, but chopped up. Like here, I have my onions already chopped. I have about 2.5 small red onions chopped up. And I also have, I love using the different color bell peppers, red and yellow bell peppers cut up. And that's what's basically going to go inside of this pan. And it's smoking. I have no idea as to why it's smoking. But let me take the pot off the eye. Let me see why is it smoking. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Don't be too careful in the kitchen. You always got to be careful about your surroundings. And I'm actually going to turn this eye down, because this eye has a tendency of having a mind of its own. I just turned the fish. Let me see, where is this fan? Everything is new here, so I'm getting used to doing certain things with my old appliances. And this is absolutely new appliances for me. Kind of scary. I'm gonna turn this eye down again. I don't know, not burning up anything. It's just the new appliances. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and start the saute. The cabbage. I know you hear that sizzling coming from the pan. If you need to take it off the eye, go ahead. But remember, this is supposed to be fried cabbage. So go ahead and start tossing it around a little bit. Down some. I'm actually scared of my new appliances. This is so funny. And with you cooking the sauteing the cabbage, it's going to cook down. So I'm going to add a little bit more oil to my pan that I just cooked the fish in, because I want to go ahead and saute the veggies in it. So the first thing we're going to saute are the bell peppers. Nice pretty color over here. And once again, I am going to turn on my pan again for my cabbage. So those cook up for a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and add my freshly chopped onions to the pan. This light is kind of bright, so what I'm going to do is maybe see if I can dim it a little bit. Let's take an up close and personal look. Here I have the sauteed cabbage. As you can see, it's shrinking from when I first placed it in the pan. Remember, I said it's going to be stir fried. Once it starts cooking down, you can begin to add whatever seasoning you want. I'm just gonna add a little all-purpose seasoner, and that's it. Here's my pan of veggies that I'm sauteing that I'm gonna be using for the fish steaks, which is the grouper steaks, and they're wilting down pretty good. To that, I'm gonna go ahead and push some of this veggies over, and I'm gonna add some more seasoning to the pan. Then it's added like a cup of water, a little bit of flour to thicken it up a little bit. You don't necessarily have to use flour. You can use tomato paste. I didn't have tomato paste, and I wanted a little gravy to go on top of my rice, so therefore I used some flour and I mixed it together, and I basically poured it in the pot. And as you can see, it's simmering just a little bit. I'll probably let it simmer for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll let you know what the ending result looks like. The results, I have the stewed fish with white rice, sauteed cabbage. So if you like what you see, like, subscribe, and thanks once again for visiting Teresa's Kitchen, and have a wonderful Sunday. So here's the ending results. I have the stewed fish with white rice, sauteed cabbage. So if you like what you see, like, subscribe, and thanks once again for visiting Teresa's Kitchen, and have a wonderful Sunday.